the baby that's in her womb? No. So if anything, the blessing, if we want to call it that, was to him in a way. But really, God just seems more or less comforts her and tells her, you're pregnant, you're going to bear a son, you're going to call him Ishmael because Jehovah has listened to your affliction. So he's going to become, ironically, he's going to become a great people, just like Isaac was going to become a great people, but they weren't going to be the people of promise. Just like Esau went off, Edom, the Edomites were him, but they weren't God's people. And Paul uses Hagar and Sarah, he uses them as a metaphor for God's people and not God's people, choosing, I guess you could say. And Hagar represented the old people, and Sarah, or the promise, Israel, the true Israel, I guess you might say. But anyway, Hagar, unfortunate situation all around, but God can use it and turn it around, which he did to an extent, I guess, in a way. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to bless him regardless because he was not a legitimate son. Irrespective of what the cultural things that were acceptable in the culture, in other cultures, as far as God was concerned, this child should have never come to be. So even if Abraham had tried, obviously God would have prevented that. Just like Isaac understood, I can't bless Esau because Jacob stole it, and so he's like, can't do it. Dean, did you have something else? Yep. So even though I kind of blended it all together, in chapter 21 is where, after Isaac is born, is when God saved them in the desert, and the child, Ishmael, was young. There have been paintings, and at least one painting that was mentioned, I think, in the handout here. I looked it up to look at it. I mean, it is a neat painting, but it also depicts Ishmael as pretty much a baby, which clearly he was not, because you can do the math from Genesis 16:16. Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. He was 100 years old when Isaac was born. Now, I'm not good at math, but even I can do that math. He was 14 years old when Ishmael was 14 years old when Isaac was born. So I think people have tried to make him a little boy because it says she carried him or whatever, but I'll take the text over any reasoning like that. He was clearly 14 years old. But God does save him, and several times, or a couple times, it says God, actually just one time it says God was with the boy. So again, he's not to blame here. But And even with Cain, God told Cain, I'm punishing you, but I'm also going to be with you and protect you. So God was with Ishmael. And I guess maybe we could look more at Ishmael a little bit, maybe when we get to Isaac and in the eyes. But as far as Hagar goes, that's about all there is with her, that she was put in a bad situation, and that should have never happened, and there were lasting consequences to that decision, which really reflects mostly on Abraham and Sarah more than Hagar, but she was a part of it. She could have said no, which we talked about before. She could have said no. Okay, very quickly. New positions in life can be fraught with temptation. Hagar, here she was in Egypt, now she's with them, and now look at the position she was put in, and sticky situation. Number 2, hasty actions in times of trial and difficulty often prove to be foolish. Already saw that. The all-seeing God exercises care over the lonely. They were on the verge of death. Ishmael was pretty much dead. But God saved them. Everyone, however obscure and friendless, has a divine purpose in his or her life. No matter who you are, how insignificant you are in your own mind at least, or in other people's mind, you have a purpose. A divine purpose even. Number 5, God works out his gracious purposes by seemingly harsh methods. Goes back to Romans 9:20. And number 6, strength, comfort, and encouragement accompany even the hardest experiences of God's children. So it's not all bad at any time. There can be divine comfort, even if God doesn't come to us the way he came to Hagar and Ishmael. He has come to us here. And we can be comforted in any messed up situation of life. Like we talked about this morning in 2 Corinthians, our eyes are somewhere else. We're looking to the things that are not seen, not to the things that are seen, but the things that are unseen. And so we can survive anything spiritually. Any other thoughts, comments? Other than to make sure you actually copy and paste the right text onto the slideshow. I have an excuse, but I won't take any time to do it. I know what happened, and to get more batteries, yes, or to change the batteries in time.
But that's the point of the lesson. And that is God overlooks the small stuff. He knew in Genesis that before Cain and Hagar and all have sinned. He knew Sunday was coming for the rest of us. He's not counting on days and minutes. He sees the overall. So it's kind of like, there's what the small stuff I got this.
Yep. We sweat the small stuff too much in matters that we shouldn't. Sometimes we should sweat some small. We think things are small things that aren't on one side, but then on the other side we worry about all the things we shouldn't be worrying about. So, yep. Just the righteous shall live by his faithfulness, just like Habakkuk said.